call me what you want, open invitation. I'm a human being infused with creative vibration, utilizing melodies and visual stimulation. Beats and stories get the glory, you get the relation. I get impatient like a doctor racing. Bullets coming from my soul, my body just a casing.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Paralyzed Artist Podcast. My name is Daniel Brian Alvarez, and today I have another dope-ass guest in the building. He's a actor, comedian, model, all kinds of shit. Give it up for my boy Sheem in the building.
What's up? It's your boy Sheem, actor, comedian, model. Some people call me a real nigga. I don't know, man. It depends on who you ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's Sheem. That's short for like what's
short for Kasheem.
Kasheem,
yeah. I dropped the "k" off of there because, you know, it get too confusing. People call me Machine, all kind of wild. Man, you know how I go.
Machine.
They
hit you with the machine?
Man, this dude one time, he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, Kasheem. He's like, "Machine." I was like, "Yeah, yep."
Yeah, after a while, you're like, I ain't even gonna correct that.
I ain't even gonna correct you. Whatever you heard, that's what it is, man. I'm him, whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So I know you from the comedy scene. So let's just get right into it. Like, how did you get into the comedy scene and all the
Man, so I always been funny is what people told me. But I was more like witty, like, oh, I can think of shit to say when you say something, a little quick comeback. And I moved to LA. And I was just I took an improv class first, right? And that was cool. And then I started writing with my boy, writing sketch. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do stand-up. And then the pandemic hit, and I kept thinking like, man, I can't wait to open back up. I'm gonna do stand-up. And I had a date set. I'm like, I'm gonna do it in July. And then we didn't fully open back up. And I was like, no, we did open back up. It was like, I'm gonna do it in July, but I was nervous. So I pushed it off. I was like, August, I'm going to do it. Nervous. Pushed it off. September, I'm going to do it. And then one day I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go do it. And I just went in.
And you just jumped
in. 10 toes.
So were you like into comedy and stand-up like before? Like, did you grow up like, you know?
Not like that. Like most people are.
Yeah.
People can like rattle off, oh, I know this comedian, this comedian. People will say comedians' names, and I'll be like, who is that?
Yeah,
because I don't know who nobody is, and it's not like a lot of people like, oh man, you being funny. I'm like, nah, I really want to know who this is because I have no idea who this person is. But I knew like the main people like Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, you know, the greats, the big names, and like people I would see on like Comic View back in the day, or a Def Comedy Jam. But other than that, nah, not really. I wasn't really into it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the same. I feel like I got into like stand up. I feel like through movies. Like I was always into movies, and then I started finding like funny people, and then I started kind of looking into like, all right, like these dudes, you know, like it's not just like movie shit. It's like there's this whole other thing. But it's kind of same. I was never really into like I didn't grow up with it or any kind of thing. I just like discovered it kind of late. But I was like, as soon as I found like stand up, and I was like, I fucks with this, you know, like I didn't really see myself as an entertainer or anything like that. Like in my head, I was never like, I could probably do this shit. What I say now is like I came out of the pandemic of fucking comedian, you know. I was like, fuck it, like I don't even know what made me think about it. Like, all right, I'm gonna try this shit. Like I don't remember what it was specifically where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try this shit. But yeah, I was kind of the same. I was like, fuck it. I got the same like, oh, you're funny. I always got that type shit. Interesting. So
I saw your first night doing comedy. I met you that night, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like a few people. I just had my last episode with MJ. Yeah. And he was there that night too. So I'm kind of like, hey, we connected in that way, you know. It's kind of crazy. So how long has it been now that you've been like hitting the scene?
Since last September. Yeah. So about how many months is that? I gotta count on my fingers. October, November, December, January. I lost count. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Is it June? It's May. It's April. 6 months.
Oh, so we in the fucking, we're like in baseball terms, we're in the fucking like minor leagues, bro. Baby. We trying to come up.
We on the way. We about to get called up.
Yeah, that's dope. Like and MJ, you know how long MJ? I don't think I asked him.
MJ was doing comedy. Shit. from what I understand, MJ was doing it back in Virginia, so a couple years now.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Actually, yeah, he did mention that he kind of did it.
He dabbled.
Kind of like off because he was like working at a country club and he was able to just do it there. And he said, "Fuck it, that's dope. Like we're fucking like comedy babies together.
Let's
hey,
go,
we get
baby.
to fucking see the fucking right." So you mentioned that you were there. Like, what was your like first thoughts seeing my ass like get up on stage? Like, did you have any kind of like you were just like whatever, just another dude?
I was like, man, this motherfucker ain't even standing up. This ain't stand up comedy. Nah, but I remember you were funny. It was some joke. I could tell it was your first time because you were kind of nervous. You had the note cards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I could tell you were kind of nervous, but I mean, shit, it was funny. And I mean, we was talking. We stayed outside talking a long time that night, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I was like, shit, man. Honestly, I just started doing it too. And you was like, word. That's when you told me, like, yeah, I do art. I was like, he's like, I do a podcast. I'm like, hell yeah, man. You doing all kind of shit. All I do is comedy and then go home and go to sleep.
Yeah, like I threw it out from the jump, I remember. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to get you on at some point. And then, yeah, I was kind of like, I mean, I've been doing it for a while. I think I started it for sure, like over a year now. But it's just been so like off. Like this month alone, I had 2 people scheduled, both canceled. So it's like, and then I'm the type of person that I hate to ask people, you know? So like if I hit you up and like plans don't, I'm just like,
man, it's LA, man.
Up, you know, like,
people gonna cancel in LA, baby.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm finding out. But one thing that I just kind of like noticed that I hadn't noticed before, that anytime that because I've scheduled both dudes and chicks, but I've never had a guy cancel on me.
It's always
girls.
Always
been females.
You know, man.
I'm not talking down.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah, but I'm like, it was just like a curious thing that I was like, dude, I don't think a dude has ever like flaked on me. It's always been the ladies. Like, what the fuck is going on?
They always got something to do.
And then I'm always like, what, is it me? Like is a motherfucker giving off some weird vibes?
Hey, do they hit you with the? Do they hit you with the? You're gonna hate me.
And then they wait till the very last, like
10 minutes before they post it.
Yeah, like, you're not gonna believe it. My granny died again.
Like, it's just the 4th time your grandmother died.
Yeah, but now, like, what I'm discovering is just, like, from talking to other photographers, talking to other people that do this shit, it's just, like, it's like you said, it's LA. It's just a part of the game, man.
That's how it go, man.
It's a part of the process. You can't let it fucking get to you.
Everybody
Even though, like I said, sometimes I'm like, yo, is it me? Like, is a motherfucker like, dude? So like, but yeah,
it's always some shit.
You flaking ass. Nah, just let.
Yeah, man, stop flaking on my boy Danny.
I'm just trying to do some art out here.
Don't worry about it, Danny. When we blow up, man, they gonna be dying. Like, man, I was supposed to do his podcast, but my grandma died again. Can y'all believe that?
We got to get to that motherfucking point. Like,
get to that.
I was joking around when I was like, a motherfucker, I want to get so famous that I'm getting other fools with disabilities laid, or people in general with disabilities laid. Like, get you a disabled motherfucker.
Hey, I'm telling you better get you my man in a wheelchair. And let me tell you, girl, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, we wild. Nah, nah. Why you lying, bro? I was a fucking wild one before my motherfucking injury. Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm already knowing. I heard the stories.
I've.
He's calmed down.
They retire me, bro. They retire me, bro.
He's calmed down. Calm down. Feds watching. But that's crazy though, man. Like I said, I met you that first night that you did, and we really just been kicking it ever since, bro.
Yeah.
We hit it off that night. I was like, man, I like this one. I like that, man. It's cool.
Thank you, bro. Same. I was like, same. Like, there's certain people, like, I also, Dom was hosting that night. So Dom is like another dude that I was just like, these fools are cool as fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was like, for me, like, I'm sure I've said this before. Like, I'm just the type of person that, like, if I'm gonna get into something, I research the shit out of it. So what I was doing was like, I have like some comedy books, and then I started kind of like trying to find like shit online where like really good comics, like a Dave Chappelle or like a Chris Rock, or like kind of, I was trying to find what was like their experiences as like open micers, like what was kind of their thing. And like all of them were saying the same shit, like it's hard as fuck, like you're gonna bomb a lot, people aren't gonna laugh at your shit, like it's just gonna, like the theme that I was getting was like that it's gonna be like a bad experience, like it's not gonna be fun or whatever.
See, I think that, at least for me, I don't feel like you can bomb at an open mic, right? Because you go, a lot of people don't know, but like the open mic scene is like when you in there trying to you get your jokes off in front of comedians, a lot of them not even paying attention because they worrying about, you know how you are when you waiting to go up, especially if you got some new shit to work on, you just kind of going over it in your head and trying to figure out how to do it. So if I can get, what I figured out quick is like, if I can get open micers to like smile or even like chuckle a little bit, then I know that the jokes are going to work. Another thing I figured out is like, man, you just got to be confident in what you're doing. Cause sometimes I've gone to a mic and did my set and it was like, ugh. And I left the mic like, man, maybe this shit ain't gonna work. But I did another mic that same night and it was like killing. Yeah, and my homeboy told me that a long time ago. He's like, man, nah, cause I used to go with my homie a lot when I first started. He was doing comedy, but he started a business during the pandemic, so he stopped. And that was good for me because honestly, if he wouldn't have been there, a lot of shit that I do now that works that you see me do, I probably would have stopped doing it. Yeah. Because I do it and I was like, man, I don't know about that. He's like, nah, it was good. You just feel like, man, don't even worry about that. Which was, I know you said that you looked at comedy books and stuff like that. So what I did was I just like watched the entire Def Jam series over the course of like a week. I would just, when I go home, I just turn it on and like leave it on. And like a lot of times, like when I used to watch it before, I would watch it, but I wouldn't like pay attention. And a lot of times it just be like background noise, but I was like actually watching people set and seeing like what worked, what didn't work, and like looking at that and seeing why it worked and like how their stage presence was and stuff like that. Because I thought about taking a stand-up class, but I didn't want that to. So I had my own idea of my jokes and what was funny, right? And I didn't want to take a class and have somebody trying to tell me, oh no, you should do a joke like this and you got to do this kind of structure, whoop, whoop, whoop. Because comedy's so subjective. They're like, can nobody tell you what's funny or what's not funny? It's either gonna be funny or it's not gonna be funny. And it also depends on, I feel like, what crowd you're in front of.
Yeah, that's a big factor for sure. Yeah, like one of the things that we're new as fuck, you know. So as far as like we can't really be like whatever, but we've had like some experiences with this shit. Like you've done shows where it's like a real crowd, people that are paying, that are not comics, that are actually there because they want to have a good time. Dude, that vibe, it's so different than an open mic, like you said, because it's just a bunch of like comedians just like waiting to get on stage or like thinking of how they can make certain shit funny or whatever. And it's like you also made a good point talking about like you try to get like a smirk at least or something. Like that's what with conversations that I've had with other people like after shows and shit, that's one of the things that I say, like, because a lot of people say that like it's different with the open mics, but I'm saying like what I say is like, well, I kind of take it as a challenge. Like, all right, let me make these food. Like, if I can make them,
if you can make them laugh, you gonna kill at a show.
Yeah. So like, now I take that mentality to like, fuck it. Like, if I can make people in this room, especially when it's been like a slow show and like nobody's really kind of like getting any kind of anything, I'm like, fuck it. Well, let me be the one that changes.
Let me turn it up. You know? Yeah. I especially like to do that because we go to a lot of like the same mics, right? Yeah. Like when I go, I like to like go to a mic that I've never been to before, and I don't know nobody there. Cause it's one thing, like once we get to know each other, once you tell a joke, people gonna be like, oh yeah, that was good. Da, da, da. But if you go to a room where you don't know nobody, or you maybe like know one or two people, and people still like, oh yeah, that was a good set, and you like, okay, yeah, I got some. I got some. Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm kind of getting to that point right now too, where it's like we go to the same, and then people already know some of my jokes. They even start like saying some of your shit already, like to
like,
you know, I'm like, yeah. But what I mean, one of the things that happens to me, I don't know if you've had any experiences like this, but like I'm writing shit. I have all kind of shit, and then or I'll have shit that I want to try, but when I get on stage, that shit just, man, I just totally forget.
I used to do that, but what I started doing is, well, actually, I wrote down maybe one or two jokes. And a lot of people write jokes. And every time I tell people like, nah, I don't write my jokes down, they're like, man, what? I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't write them down. I feel like sometimes it can come off as me trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm good. But nah, it's just like when I write it down, I feel like I pay too much attention to the words and the punctuation and when I'm supposed to say this and how. So now what I started doing is I'll just write down the idea, right?
Yeah.
And then as I'm on stage, I'll voice record it. Now that's one thing I will do. So I got this thing like I'll be falling asleep and it'll be like fucking 1:30 in the morning and something will hit me, right? And I'll hop up, my girl will be asleep. I'll hop up and like run in the living room and just like voice record the idea and then like how I feel like it's funny at that moment. And I listen to it the next day and just like try to make a joke out of it. Then when I get on stage, which I stopped doing, I hate it, is I'll record my set because it feels one way. You record your sets when you go up?
Yeah. I try to,
Yeah. So when you get home and you listen to them again, another thing, I hate listening to my sets back. I'll listen to them like 1 or 2 times, like never listen to it again. But I'll listen to it and you can hear like where you should change like your tone or your cadence to make it funny, because you think it sounds one way when you're on stage and you listen to them like, damn, I should have said this way. I should have said that way. And that's when it started to get good.
For sure. For me, what I tell myself is like, it's gonna come with like just getting up there and all that, because I like, that's one of the things that I even say on stage sometimes, like where I understand that my job is just to get comfortable on stage, you know, like right now I'm so new or whatever. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just kind of like get as comfortable as I can, and then like try different things, whether it's like writing or I do record my sets and I do listen, and I've noticed that where I'm like, damn, if I would have said this way. Or then the other thing that happens that I'm not, because I'm still working it out, like some shit will happen, like somebody will say something that you could use. No, it sometimes throw you off, but also like, let's say they just make a comment that if you would have like noticed it, you could have made some funny shit out of it. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't even hear that. Like I was so, I get so focused on trying to get what I'm saying right, and then thinking of what's coming next, that I fucking like almost like lose stage presence, or I'm not 100% present in the moment. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, I want to get to that point. You know?
That's what I'm trying to get better at doing that too, cause like people like Asia be killing, bro. You say one thing during her set and she'll take that shit and go with it the rest of the fucking set. And I want to be present like that, but I still like, it's like you said, we're new to it. I still get caught in the like trying to get my jokes across the way that I had them in my head, and I'm trying to like get away from that, because now what I've been focusing on doing is like just taking my time and working on my timing. So I used to get up there and tell, like, you know, when I first started, I would do more like stories. So I tell my story and I'd be thinking about like the next thing I'm supposed to say and the next thing I'm supposed to say, and I wouldn't like chill and like let the laugh breaks get in and stuff like that. Now I just be like, because you be thinking about so much. You think about how much time do I have left? Where am I at in this story? What the fuck am I supposed to say next? And you lose track of like being in the moment. Yeah.
But it's like I've like people have wrote like those experience of like, and like I try to do the same, but fuck, it's just hard.
Bro, it's hard.
Like,
it's hard.
When you start feeling that pressure of like when you say a joke and then it doesn't really work, then you're like, God damn, I need to say some shit that's funny, and then that's what I've been learning about timing. That timing is that like letting people laugh at the joke completely, and then being able to recognize like, all right, now I need to go to the next one. Like that's what the whole timing shit is. Like it's interesting, and like at the end of the day, it just comes with just getting up.
Just keep doing it. Keep doing it
for sure. But it's cool. It's cool hearing that you're kind of experiencing some of the same shit that I'm. So I'm like, all right, that means I'm in a good place then. If you're experiencing something like that too. I wanted to ask, you're not originally from LA, right?
No, I'm from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
I'm moving from the A, baby. Peace up, A-Town down. Huh? Oh yeah, Atlanta Braves World Series champs. I know it's got a lot of Dodger stuff in here. Did they beat the Dodgers?
Yeah, they beat the Dodgers.
I'm trying to think that they.
Hey, who's with
Freddie Freeman, baby?
Who is Freddie Freeman?
And he hit a homer against the Braves the other day.
His very first
at
bat with them.
Damn.
It's our year, man. Especially if we get a little bit more. I mean, the pitching's been solid, but I mean, we do have that whole shit with Trevor Bauer where he might come back or he might not. I don't know how people feel about that.
Man, my first pro baseball game was a Dodgers-Braves game.
Really?
What's even more crazy is it was right before I moved out here. I went to the series in Atlanta. I went to 2 of those games. My cousin had tickets and he came down. He's like, man, you want to go to the game? I'm like, hell yeah. So we went out there 2 games, and I wasn't really into baseball like that. My dad played baseball in college and shit, but I never played baseball. I should have. Them motherfuckers get paid, boy.
Yeah, I played basketball and football, but now I think about it. I mean, I played here and there, and I could, like, I lived up in the state of Washington for a few years. Like, so as a kid, one of my neighbors, he was into baseball, and he was older than me. He was a few years older than me, and I would fucking launch balls, bro, compared to him, and I had really good hand-eye coordination. So I thought, but like, god damn, I should have got into
Y'all was out there like them
baseball.
fucking kids on the sand lot, wasn't you?
I was, bro, like I was really good. I mean, I'm like 5'8", almost 5'9".
You had that
and
low strike zone.
I could jump too. I could almost dunk.
Damn.
Like, without any training. Like I never
Damn,
trained
spoiled
my
well.
body at all. Yeah, bro. I could like I could jump and hang on the rim with two hands.
I used
like,
to go to like the batting cage. My daddy would take me out when he would come pick me up and shit and take me to the damn, like to the baseball field, like throw balls. I was switch hitting and shit. I was better with my left hand than I was with my right hand.
Oh, but you're a righty or you're
I'm a righty. But
man,
yeah.
shit, yeah. If you were
Trying to get me right, man. I ain't want to play.
But you don't know as a kid, like, yeah.
You don't know no better, man.
That's one of my, like, it's kind of like one of the things that I really miss, and one of the big regrets that I have is like, man, I wish I would have taken like sports more seriously.
That's a lot of stuff, man. I think that's, bro, honestly, that's one of the main reasons I moved out here. Cause my whole, man, I used to be like at work in South Carolina. I used to live in Myrtle Beach for like 10 years. I went to college at Coastal and I just kind of stayed there. And I would be like, I would always be telling people like at customers and shit, like, oh, you so funny, you got such a good personality. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to move to LA and da-da-da. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't waste your personality and this and that and stay here. And like, I had a lot of old customers at my job, and they would always be like, man, the older you get, they be like, you gonna regret like not doing stuff that you should have done. They be like, my biggest regret is like not doing shit. That's why now I just be like, man, fuck it. Like with comedy, I was like, man, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah. And
like, I'm one of the people like, man, when I get too comfortable, like I gotta change. I gotta do something else. I like being outside that comfort zone and like starting to do other shit. Right. So I had got so comfortable, and it was like, I just kind of got into this depression because like, man, I can't, it's like, I've maximized what I can do here.
Yeah.
So I got to go somewhere else. And I moved to Atlanta for like a year and a half. And that was like, man, it was cool, but it was still like kind of home because I was used to being back and forth in Atlanta, and it wasn't really what I was trying to do. So I moved out here, man. That shit was rough at first. I ain't gonna lie. Boy, I was like, man, god damn. But I used to always say, I'm like, man, I'd rather be fucking struggling out there trying to do something I want to do than be comfortable here and be fucking bored as hell. And I was like, fuck it. I just got up and did it, man. And now we here. Now we here struggling in LA, baby.
Did you have like culture shock when you moved out here?
Not really, because I came out here and visited a bunch. Well, I say a bunch. I probably visited like 4 times. But I knew people, like I had friends out here who were like plugged in. So I come out here. When I came out here, it wasn't like I was doing tourist shit.
Yeah,
it's like I was doing like LA. And my boy used to live in the Bay. So I would fly to San Francisco all the time. So I was used to being like in the city and moving around on the West Coast. It was different, like not being around, not being able to like drive home and see the family and stuff like that. But
yeah, for sure.
Other than that, I was just like, fuck it, let's go.
No, I could see now. And then first you were in Atlanta for a while, and then even Myrtle Beach. Like a lot of people go vacation there, don't they?
Yeah,
it's like a vac. So I'm sure like a lot of different.
That shit is the country.
It's like vacation for white people.
That shit is racist.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god, you know it's racist when like white people would come down from like up north, and they come down, they be like, what the fuck? They be like, how y'all? They be like, it's always like this? I'm like, oh yeah. South Carolina, the first state to secede from the Union, bro. They don't. The motherfuckers still got slaves.
They still mad about that shit.
They still mad.
Bullshit, we let it go. It's crazy, man. Like all that shit. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy because it's like, man, like that shit. Like is like. It's deep in people. Oh yeah,
it's ingrained,
like it's
bro.
never. It's like
it's
almost never gonna fucking. You know, like some
it's
people
ingrained.
just have this wild ass fucking like hate. And if you like, I bet you if you ask some of those people like why is it that you feel that way? They don't even know, bro. It's just like so ingrained.
It's in them. Yeah, it's in them.
They're like, come on, daddy. You know?
No, they say some stupid shit like that's how it's supposed to be. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Who said that? Who told you that's how it's supposed to be?
I'm from LA. I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
The reason I asked if you had like culture shock, because like I said earlier, I moved to the state of Washington for a few years when I was hitting puberty. That shit fucked me up. It was like culture shock, like a motherfucker.
Bunch of white people.
No like no real like Latin presence.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, here it's like,
Man, bro, I worked at Spectrum when I first got here in Beverly Hills. Bro, I learned so much Spanish because I took French in school. Bro, I learned so much Spanish just talking to all the like Hispanic people that would come in.
yeah,
And it's like that, okay, it wasn't culture shock, but a couple things I had to get used to. So I wasn't used to being around so many different cultures, right?
yeah.
So you know, LA got its own, everywhere's got its town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or the part of the town. So you get around so many, like, because we had Asians in South Carolina and like Atlanta, but not like you go to Koreatown or Chinatown. It's like, man, goddamn, this real deal Asians.
They have like full communities,
Right?
Yeah,
and you
sure.
got Hispanics, but you ain't got like the real deal. It's the real deal over here, like everywhere. And then the thing that I really, so in South Carolina, you got, it's backwards as fuck, right? So it's like I worked with this trans girl when I moved out here, right? I had never seen a trans person before in my life.
Really?
Never, right? And when I first started working, like trans people used to come in and I'd be like, man, I ain't feel no way about it because a lot of people get weird about it, bro. I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck. People gonna do what the fuck they want to do. That's got nothing to do with me. Like, live your life. But I'd be like, man, it's so interesting that like people are so free over here.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, not even the East Coast, like in South Carolina, people are so like stuck up and like uptight. That's the thing I wanted to get away from.
Right.
Like that backwards ass thinking and then like societal norms and stuff like that. I was like, man, why are y'all worried about what people are doing? Just fucking do your thing. So out here, when I got out here and like seeing all that different stuff, like it opened your eyes so much. Like the world is so different.
Yeah.
Right. And so many, like people are so different, but still people are still the same. Because no matter how different, you're like, man, we never, we don't know each other from a can of paint, but you meet people and y'all hit it off and you're like, man, okay, yeah, you know, like comedy,
with you, yeah.
Bro, we meet so many different people doing comedy.
Yeah.
It's insane that you like, man, half of the people that I hang with now, I probably would never hang with. Like back home, I probably would kick it with them, but not like you see people hanging together, you're like, how the fuck? Like, if you see me and Danny T together, you're like, man, what the fuck? Polar opposites, bro. What are y'all doing with each other?
But speaking of Danny T, that show yesterday fucking killing that shit.
Yeah.
That shit was
That shit was good,
fire,
bro. That shit was good.
I think you guys had like the most laughs. Like you guys got fucking like applause breaks and shit.
I want to do.
I was like, they're fucking killing this shit.
Bro, he did one of my jokes down there better than me. I was like, damn, Danny T, I'm gonna steal them tags you put on there, boy.
I heard you say.
But that was good. I like that.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, afterwards, Sam was like, bro, it would be funny if me and you were there. I was like,
Sam Landers?
I was like,
that shit
would be kind of funny.
He gotta get a wheelchair though.
I was like, I'll probably have to get two motherfuckers holding me up.
We can do that, baby. That's nothing.
Shit.
That's easy. That's easy.
Make some like, man, I be getting tired of walking in this.
That's easy. Hey, you're a real comedian though. You got heckled that night at the Funny Friend mic.
Oh yeah. Hey, I was all for it. Like that shit didn't bother me one motherfucking bit. I was like, motherfucker, I'm funny. You got me fucked up.
I was in the back talking shit because I was at the bar. I was standing beside my girl, and he said, I looked up. I was like, man, what the fuck is he talking about? And we was already like over time. Because we had went to the back. I was like, man, let's put Danny and who else? We put somebody else up with you after you. And I was like, man, let's put them up. Well, actually, Josh was like, man, let's put them up because we had a DJ after us. He's like, man, fuck that, let's put them. I'm like, all right, cool, let him go. And he said that shit. I was like, man, I will go do 15 minutes just straight flaming his ass up right now. And I was in the back talking shit. My girl's like, no, stop. I was like, man, fuck him.
Yeah. That shit, I don't know. That shit was funny. But I mean, I don't think so much. It was not just my shit. It was, I guess, because somebody had said that he was already talking shit before.
The bartenders had already said that they don't like him.
Oh, yeah?
They said he always coming there with that bullshit. But it's like the principle, like, I don't like, because it's something that, you putting yourself out there doing something that he can't do.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like you got so much of an opinion about it and you want to do it like in the middle of this man's set. Why you want to do that, man?
Yeah.
But you know who Nocturnal is, right? He used to rap with Dre and back in the day.
Yeah.
He heckled Josh one night. We was at this like
Really?
we was at this like bar. We were like off of Pico Union area, kinda over there. And we was in there. Josh was doing his little set. It was a Baca show. And he said something about being gay, and Nocturnal was like, nope. he just kept heckling Josh.
That's funny.
And it was so funny because we didn't know who he was. And then some dude was laughing. He's like, you know who that is? And he's like, nah. He's like, that's Nocturnal. And then when Josh got on the stage, he was cool. He was fucking with him and shit. But he was drunk. Yeah. That's my first time getting banged on. So I was walking down the street to the store. This dude was like, he's like, what you bang, homie? I'm looking at him like, who the fuck you talking to? He's like, what you bang, homie? I'm like, oh shit, bro, I don't bang nothing. I'm about to bang this left and go to the store. But that's about it. I call my boys, I'm like, yeah, I'm real LA now, baby.
They banged on me, bro. Shit, that's one of the things I don't fucking miss, bro. Like when I was walking, fuck, anywhere I would go all the time. Where you from, homie? Like, I'm bang, bro.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
I'm about that life, but not like, I mean, I could say like I was a thug, but I was, like gang shit was never my thing. A lot of my cousins and shit are in gangs, and I was like, it's not my thing. Especially once I got into sports.
Yeah.
And then like some of my cousins' homies, like they would be like, do your thing. They used to call me Hoops because I was always like playing basketball. They'd be like, just do your thing, Hoops. You know, like don't even fucking fuck with none of this shit too. You know.
That's how I was. I wasn't. I mean, it's not like that in South Carolina. LA gang culture is fucking crazy, but like over there you had like little neighborhood gangs and shit. But I kind of knew everybody, so I would, you know what I'm saying, I was around it and like be with people who was in it. But I'm like, man, I was just always chilling, like, man, y'all about to go do what? No, I'm good on that. Y'all about to do what? Oh no, I'm good on that. But you know what I'm saying, I was always on the scene.
Because even hanging out you could get some fucking, like I remember one time we went to like a warehouse party with him and like a bunch of like the fools in his gang, and then they ended up getting like this big ass fight. Motherfuckers ended up shooting, like it was wild, bro. I was like, I ain't about this life, bro. I'm straight. I never kicked it with them again, bro.
We used to shoot all the time. That's crazy. That shit used to be exciting. Cause I remember like our graduation party from high school, like 2 people got shot. This one dude got hit in the head. Got killed, and I was like, man, we was always like, wow, that's crazy. Not like, wow, that's crazy. They were like, everyone like, oh, that's crazy. We was just like, oh yeah.
So you guys had that over there, like, cause here in LA, there's always like you always hear a story like somebody got shot at this party, or like you had those experiences even.
But it was more blown up, cause like we in a small, not compared to most places out here in a small town. It's kind of like where I'm from. Rock Hill is right below Charlotte, North Carolina. That's what most people know. Charlotte, nobody knows where fuck Rock Hill is at. It's probably like a Lancaster or a Palmdale.
Yeah, it's one of those fucking outskirts.
Right, right. A little bit bigger. Not really. Not really, nah.
Because I mean, well, if you compare like Palmdale to like LA and shit, it's like baby city in the middle of nowhere and shit.
Yeah.
People know about Palmdale and Lancaster shit. We don't gotta explain that shit.
People on the East Coast don't know. They're thinking about Lancaster, South Carolina. That shit's smaller than Rock Hill. Bro, for real, my family, like my mama's family, my mom from a town, bro. They probably got fucking 3 stoplights, bro.
Oh shit, like a small
small as fuck. Where she from, that shit small. They got fucking Hardee's and a McDonald's. All that shit closed at fucking 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You gotta drive to the next town to fucking go to the convenience store, bro.
That's crazy.
That shit is sick.
It's like crazy if you compare it to like me, born and raised here, like always in the fucking city and shit. Like that would be like a fucking another type of culture shock going into a little ass small town. But that comes with like, you feel like that's a good thing or a bad thing? Kind of like that small town mentality compared to like.
I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. I think it's just it's just different. It's like the way you come up and like the stuff that you're used to is different. It's like people be saying like, oh, stuff is country. And like before, like we would call stuff country because people would be from small, like where my mama from, we would call where my mama from like, oh, that's shit country. But then you go to somewhere big and you're like, nah, where you're from is country. It's like, nah, bro, I'm from the country because I came out here. Like my dad came out here last July. My dad and my stepmama came out here and that was his first time in LA. Oh, really? And he was like, man, this shit is so fast. He like, man, because I had him I got him this Airbnb on Sunset and like right off the exit when you go into by the Netflix building. Sunset and Wilton.
The 101?
Yeah. And I had him over there and he was just like, man, because I would talk to him about like what I'm out here trying to do. Like, man, you know how parents are, man, you need to get a job and do this. I'm like, nah, I'm actually trying to make some shit shake. Yeah. And he got out here and he was like, man, this shit so fast. There's always so much going on. He's like, man, he's like, okay, I get it. He's like, he want to come back. He's like, man, you think I could buy a place out there? I'm like, man, maybe. I took him to the we wanted to go to a Dodgers game. I told you a big baseball guy, but the Dodgers wasn't in town. So I drove him down to San Diego. We went to see a Padres game while he was here. That shit was cool. That was my first time going to a baseball game with my dad ever, bro. Really? He like a fucking kid. He get this like little scorecard. He like, man, we gonna keep scoring the game. He dropping mustard on his shirt and shit. I'm like, man, grow up, bro.
Nah, but I think that's dope as fuck.
That shit was dope, bro. That shit was
like that's one of the things that I like. One of the things that I have in my head, kind of like, you know how people have like bucket lists and shit. Like I want to kind of have the experience of trying to hit every baseball stadium.
That's lit
in the country.
Yeah,
like if
lit.
I have any kind of like goal for the rest of my life, is just be able to just hit every stadium and watch the Dodgers play at every.
Except the Houston Astros, because they
fuck
the Astros, man. Cheating ass bitches.
I mean, but just I might just do it just because of just
go to talk shit.
I'm gonna just walk around that bitch. Fuck y'all. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation with the fucking Astros and shit.
Fuck the Astros. Altuve, fuck you. If you watching this, kiss my ass. Nah, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, my boy. I feel you. If you get caught, you wasn't trying hard enough. So y'all should try harder next time. Don't get caught.
The crazy thing is, like, they've had good teams, bro. Like they've had good enough players where they don't even need to cheat, like, you know.
Man, I feel like baseball is one of them sports though that's like, I mean, I guess it's like any other sport. You got to be on when the time, because really, man, I went to the I went to the batting cage not too long ago. I had this audition. I had to send in a self-tape. It was for a commercial. And they was like, you ever played baseball? So I lied. I'm like, hell yeah, I played in high school, but it's been a while. They're like, all right, just send us a tape of you like hitting the baseball at the batting cage or something like that. So I go out there and I had that shit on like fucking 40 miles an hour and it was kicking my ass, bro.
Really?
It was some kids beside me. This was why it was so embarrassing. Because there was some kids in the next cage over and they were hitting the shit. Bing! 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 So I'm like, I'm hitting it, but I'm not getting the contact I want. So it's me and my homeboy. He recording for me. I turned that shit up to 70. I couldn't even get a bat off my shoulders.
Yeah, man. That's a whole like, well, that's what they say, you know? Like, that's the hardest thing in sports is to hit a fucking baseball,
bro.
Man. It's crazy when you're only successful like 3 out of 10 times and you're a fucking all-star, bro.
Man, he's amazing. Like, what? This motherfucker suck. He ain't even hitting the ball.
No, that's crazy. You gotta have like that really good hand-eye coordination.
You know? And that ball's coming so fast.
Yeah,
100 miles per hour. How they hit that shit?
And then there's dude that they fucking throw 100 and then they'll throw like a curveball. That
shit's moving and
a curveball that's like fucking 80 miles an hour. Like, yeah, like.
I'm like, first of all, motherfucker, that's got to be some kind of magic that you're doing. Because how the hell you do that?
Yeah. It's just a lot of time, putting in that time in the cage and shit. And I bet you were probably sore as fuck the next day after.
Sweating like fuck. I'm like, man, I ain't even moving. I'm just out here trying to hit the damn ball. Hey. My ego was sore. For sure. Hell yeah.
They fucking scout the guy next to you for the commercial. That was the youngsters that was hitting them.
Hey, sir, how old are you? 11? Come over here. Let me talk to you.
Yeah, I guess they got to make sure your technique is on point. You know,
my shit was terrible. I sent the video to my daddy. He was like, what the hell?
I did not rate. What the fuck?
Like, boy, you might be adopted. Man, damn.
Yeah, talking about dads and baseball games. Actually, the first baseball game that I remember going to was a Dodgers game, obviously, and they pitched a no-hitter against the Dodgers.
Damn. No hits.
I think it might have been the Braves actually that they were playing.
Chipper Jones, baby.
Nah, it was before Chipper. This was
before
like
Chipper?
I mean, I'm a 80s baby. This shit was like
I'm an 80s baby too, you know what I'm saying?
So this was like 90, something like 95 maybe.
Okay, that 94. Was way before Chipper Jones.
Yeah, it was like, but I was like, that's crazy. Like, and then I didn't really get it at the time. I didn't understand what no hitter, like the significance of it or whatever. And then I remember my pops telling me like, when you're older, you'll understand this shit and you'll know the meaning. And then like now, I normally like before COVID, I was going to like maybe like 10, 15 games a year. And I normally go like I like if I'm talking to a chick, take a chick. But for the most part, I just try to go with my pops. And so we would like catch games and shit. And like I remember having that conversation once or twice. I'm like, man, you remember when you told me that I would have no hitter and I didn't get it, and now I understand it.
He's like, damn,
crazy.
wow, I witnessed history and I ain't
Yeah.
know it. I was like, oh, whatever, ain't nobody hitting the ball.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like looking
This
back,
shit
it's
bored.
like
Ain't nobody hitting it.
These motherfuckers suck. What the fuck? It's some bullshit. But yeah, looking back, it's like cool having that little, like memory or whatever.
Man, we went to see the Padres because my daddy wanted to see why can't I think of his fucking name? With the dreads.
Oh, this was recent?
Yeah, this was last year.
Fernando Tatis?
Fernando
Jr.?
Tatis. He wanted to see Tatis play. Tatis played like shit that day,
Yeah.
boy. He ain't do shit. And then we left and we watched the game the next day. This motherfucker went off.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
That sucks. You gotta fucking win. But that's baseball, man.
That's how
like,
it is, man.
You could be like one of the faces of baseball and be eating shit like one day.
Shit. They don't give a fuck. It's like, man, I ate shit, but I just made fucking 120K, baby. What's good?
Off every pitch almost.
You know what I'm saying?
Some of these dudes, yeah. It's wild. And that's like guaranteed money for the most part.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, them dudes getting paid.
Motherfuckers getting it, man. That shit's sickening.
It's kind of weird. I don't know if you like noticed, but like I feel like baseball players are the most stable athletes too. Like usually they're not out here wilding out, fucking wasting all their money and shit. And
man, they make so much money. I think it's two things that goes into that. Number one, these motherfuckers make so much money that if you can blow that amount of money, which I'm sure I could, but to blow that amount of money is like insane. And number two is they play so many fucking games that they don't really have time.
Yeah.
As soon as the season's over, it's like they get 2 weeks and then it's back in the fucking doing the same thing. So it's like it's longer than 2 weeks, but it feels like 2 weeks because as soon as baseball season's over, it's baseball again. I'm like, God damn, y'all have no time to rest.
Yeah, it's just a few months, like 3 or 4 months. It's like the off season. I think another aspect of it is like they get these dudes young as fuck too, and they have like baseball academies and shit where they're like everything's like regimented, and they have people like counseling and all kind of shit. Whereas like football, like usually it's like out of college, you don't have any kind of
ready to fucking. They got a lot of free time with football too. Yeah,
it's just one game a week.
Yeah, and basketball too. But I guess football. I think football I feel like those are the players that get in trouble the most. They just naturally fucking assholes though. It's like a lot of them just like, man, I always been bad. I like to run around the field and hit people anyway, so I'm gonna do that shit.
They got like them violent tendencies and shit.
And that CTE fucking kicking their ass, boy. Like, man, shit.
Yeah, I just seen. I forgot what it was. It was some shit. This was a hockey player though. He just one of his things that he liked throwing them hands, and he ended up with really bad CTE after his career or whatever. Damn. He actually got a what is it? The shit that Ali had.
Parkinson's.
He got Parkinson's from just throwing them hands.
Damn,
like, that's what
crazy.
They're like attributing it to just like.
I fucking whooped your ass so bad that you got Parkinson's. What that's sick.
He was fucking
going crazy.
They was whooping his ass too, and if he got CTE, my boy, he was taking them hits to the face.
You gotta be bobbing and weaving, my boy. You gotta be bobbing and weaving. Yeah. I couldn't imagine. I can't even ice skate, bro. Trying to fight on ice, I'm getting my ass handed to me.
It's dope though that they let them throw hands till they fall though.
Bro, I feel like if they let them boys throw hands in basketball, man, everybody will stop acting like they bad. Cause if they just clear that floor out, I'm like, all right, y'all bang until somebody fall. They be like, man, oh shit, I was just playing, bro. I ain't really about that.
I ain't about that life.
Yeah.
I was just, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was like, you think that whole shit like gladiators back in the day doing some like fighting to the death shit, like you think that would ever go mainstream again, bro? Some shit like that where you have people
the closest we gonna get to that is UFC, bro.
Yeah,
that's it. Imagine how crazy that shit was though.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you going out there like, man, what you doing today? Like, nah, bro, they got a fucking gladiator fight today.
Yeah, like, you got me fucked up, bro.
One of these motherfuckers not making it home tonight. You like, oh shit.
That'd be like, I was like, damn, that shit would be crazy seeing some shit like that.
That shit was wild.
I mean, I'm sure there's shit, some underground fucking fight to the death shit for sure.
Yeah.
There's some motherfuckers, if not, There is for here in this country, but I'm sure in other countries they have some
wild
ass fucking.
They getting that shit popping.
Some fight to the death ass shit.
I think I read something like they used to make like just for entertainment. They would make like slaves or like people that they capture, like make them fight lions and shit. Just put them in there and like
yeah. And other gladiators, that was the whole thing where they would fight like fucking bears and lions and tigers.
Why the fuck would you want to do that, bro? I'm not doing that. Hell no.
There's no entertainment, bro. That was like the main. There was no sports really. Like
I bet they was excited. Motherfuckers invented the damn anything to entertain the look. That's why people was playing that little ball with the cup and the string on it. They're like, hell yeah, we ain't gotta fight tigers no more, boy. I'm entertained like a motherfucker. Hopscotch, let's get it. Let's get it.
Nah, I've said that like it would have been cool like being born in those like fucking like back in the day war times and shit when they would fight with swords and shit.
Hell no, I'm not doing that shit. I was talking about that shit the other day. They're like, man, you probably would have been used to it though, because that's how you came up. I'm like, man, you know what? Fuck that. I watch a lot of shit like that though, like Vikings and fucking that show Marco Polo on Netflix about like all that old time and shit.
Yeah.
I like watching that shit. There don't be no black people in it, but it makes sense. I mean, like, I like watching it. My girl said the other day, she's like, you love watching these kind of shows. I'm like, man, they be getting that shit popping.
It's entertaining, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm like I said, I'm just like if I get into some shit, like I get into it. I see the shit out of everything.
Bro, I start watching it all. I be like, man, damn, that shit crazy. Animal Planet.
Yeah.
Anything.
I grew up on a little bit when I was like up in Washington, 12, 13. Like that's the main shit that I watched, like animal shows. Yeah,
I didn't really get into that shit until I got older and started smoking weed. I started smoking weed, bro, and I just started watching like fucking. I bought the whole Animal Planet DVD collection, and I just get high as fucking watch that shit. Now, bro, when I got into shrooms when I got out here, bro, I would do shrooms and watch that shit, and I'd be like, what the fuck, just sitting there for hours.
Tripping out on all
tripping and watching that shit, bro. It was like, man, this shit is insane.
Talking about animals, it reminds me of this story that one of my sisters told me. That one time she was living with her boyfriend already, and then his grandma was like visiting. I think they're from Mexico. His grandma was visiting. And she said they were just chilling in the living room watching like the TV, and it was like an animal show. And then she said that the grandma, it was a seal. There was like a seal like swimming in the water and shit. And then she said that the grandma was like, "Ah, look, it'd be so nice to be like a seal just chilling in the water."
Shark tore his ass up.
Fucking great white shark comes out and eats that like literally it was like she was on some Shark Week shit, bro. And she said, "Oh, never mind." I was like, that's some funny ass shit, bro. Imagine she was like, oh, it'd be so nice being a seal. And then you know how like there's that island in like Seal Island, like it's off like the coast of Africa, where it's like that's the only place I think in the world where the great sharks like breach like that, where they literally come out of the water like and grab seals. It was kind of like one of those shit.
Hell no.
I was like, I could just imagine that shit. That'd be funny as hell. Like,
I'm scared of the ocean, man. Number one, I can't swim. Number two, they don't know what the fuck is in it. Bro, you ever go to the beach and it's like looking like, man, that's a lot of fucking water out there, bro. What in the hell?
Nah, yeah, like I mean, I've been through so much shit that like I don't think there's that many things that scare me. But one, like if I can think of one shit that would be like a scary thought for me is being like on a fucking raft in the middle of the ocean, like where you can't see a goddamn thing, like no land for. Like, that's like nightmare scenario for me, bro.
You can't do shit. All you do is sit there and float.
And then like no like cover from the sun, no food. Just that whole scenario is like, nah, I'm good, bro.
You go crazy.
That's scary for me.
I won't go on a cruise, bro. I'm not doing it. I never been like in the cruises and boats. And it's like my mama go on a cruise every year. She's like, oh, you want to go on cruise with me? I'm like, no, I don't. Cause like, man, you get out there in that water. It's insane cause she won't get on an airplane. She been on the airplane maybe once or twice. Mm-hmm. That's because she had to for a job. And I'm like, damn. But you would go get on that fucking boat in the middle of that water?
Well, because maybe she, like, you say you were into animal shows and it's like, you know some shit about, you know some potential shit in the water. And just like the scenario of water in general.
Yeah.
Especially like you can't swim.
Man, hell no. I can't drink all that water. Fuck that. I ain't doing that. I saw Titanic. I saw that shit go.
I saw that shit in theaters. You
I
got
saw
me
that
fucked
shit
up.
in HD. Stop playing.
I've actually saved two people from drowning.
Damn.
Yeah, one of my friends and one of my nephews. Like, one of my boys, we went to there's a pool at the Rose Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
they have two like Olympic size like pools. They have like a deep ass end. It's like 20 feet or some shit.
Yeah.
Hella deep. And then we went. This was back in the day. I was like, it was right before I moved up to Washington, so I was like 12. And then we went like, my parents were like going to church, and we went like on this church trip to go swimming for whatever reason. And then like it was basically my best friend. Like, we were like really good homies. And then he was like, I was like, you want to go to the other side? And he didn't say he couldn't swim. And
Like,
this
hell
motherfucker just jumped in and started drowning, bro. And I had to like jump in and grab him. And then this motherfucker started drowning me, bro, because he was trying to like.
He was panicking.
Yeah, bro. So I was kind of like trying to like help him get to the edge, and then like one of the lifeguards saw, and he like jumped in and like kind of grabbed both of us and shit.
No, boy. If you drowning in anything deeper than 5 feet, I can't do nothing for you. You're done. You're done.
If you can't hit the ground.
If you can't stand up in that motherfucker, don't get in there, because I can't do nothing but tell people what happened. Ain't no use in both of us fucking drowning. I'm going to tell the story. Why you didn't get him? Shit, I can't swim.
Nah, that's another like scenario that like drowning and some shit where you're like, I mean, I could swim, but like that, like a drowning death, that shit's
sick, boy. Yeah. That shit's sick. Drowning, being buried alive. Bro, that shit scared the fuck out of me. I don't know why. Like, when are you gonna be buried alive? But I be thinking about that shit. Like, man, what if a motherfucker try to bury me while I'm alive?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like,
I can't get out like the bitch on Kill Bill. She was punching the motherfucking thing.
Nah, that shit unrealistic. But how are you in like, and kind of those kind of like dangerous situations? Have you ever had some kind of like life?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
You're like you're good though, because some people panic.
Some people panic. Yeah.
Like, you stay calm and shit.
I be thinking about so much shit, like how and like what I tried. See, it depends on the situation. I've been in some situations like I'll keep my cool, but in my head I'll be like, man, what the fuck? Yeah. What the fuck?
What the fuck is going on?
But on the outside, I'm like, man, don't be no bitch now. But on the inside, I'm like, man, this shit could go left. And then sometimes it depends on who you with too. Cause if I'm in some shit, like when I was out here one time, me and my girl went to this thing, I think it was in Inglewood. Like this little, I forget what the fuck it was. The ass of people out there. And I told her before we left, I'm like, don't wear those sandals just in case something happened. We got to run. And we went out there, and this motherfucker wore sandals. And we was just walking. Next thing we know, I mean, it's an ass of people out there. Everybody just take off hauling ass, running. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm moving, and I'm like grabbing her and moving her. And we somehow get pressed up against this gate. And I'm like pushing back so that I don't fucking suffocate her. But I'm trying to keep my cool, because I know if I panic, she already panicking. So if I panic, she gonna fucking have a heart attack. So it depends on who you with. And like, you know how that shit go, man.
Yeah, for sure. And then your girl, like you guys met here, or like you guys?
We met in college. Okay. But we didn't really start fucking with each other like that until like 20. We was fucking with each other on and off for a while. But like 2017, 2018, we was like, all right, let's lock in. Yeah.
But you guys like ended up out here separately?
We moved out here at the same time.
Oh,
yeah, we moved out here together.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, it's like, it makes the experience like less fucking, you know. Especially you're saying like you don't have like a lot of family out here. It's just like you.
Yeah, just me, her, and I got a homeboy I went to college with. My dog, actually. I was talking to him on the way over here. The one I was telling you that I was doing a comedy with.
Okay.
Yeah, he live out here. He came out. He was doing comedy.
Business.
Yeah, he started doing a bit. That smell good. If you in the candles and like, you know what I'm saying, body shit.
Yeah,
he be all in.
He be out. If he has like a website or something.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram at Dat Smell Good. DAT Smell Good. Yeah, my boy going crazy, man. But he came out here. He was doing comedy for a long time. As a matter of fact, he was doing comedy. I forgot where he was at doing the show, or a mic or something. He met this producer. This motherfucker actually was on the first season of Revenge Body with Khloe Kardashian.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. And he turned that shit up. I was like, man, this nigga out here getting it. I need to go to LA. He on TV. I need to be on TV.
That's what's up.
Really? That's when I was like, man, yeah, I gotta go, bro. I gotta do something.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about it. Like, there's so many like different people, and then you never know who might see. Bro,
you never
shit,
know.
Bro. You never know who
you never
might
know
meet.
who you're in front of. For real. That's why I be telling people, like, man, people get caught up in so much like It's bullshit. I'm like, man, look, especially when doing comedy, I'm just like, man, I do it because I like it. It's a rush that people don't understand. You get that, like, you know how it feel when you get in laughs, you get that fucking euphoria, and you just like, man, it's like, damn, it's like doing drugs. You like, man, shit, I'm high, and you chasing that next high, and it's like, it's never like, oh, this is boring, because I think maybe that's what, like, big comedians, why they get so, like, they get jaded. Because I guess, like, if you Dave Chappelle or somebody like that, no matter what you say, you so big that you can go on stage and just fucking make fart noises in the mic for an hour and people gonna laugh.
Yeah.
Right? Most of the time. But I guess sometimes them niggas bomb too. Because he'll tell stories about him bombing.
Yeah.
But I guess, man, you get so... It's probably like... You probably get so good at it, or you probably get so big that, like, you want to bomb just to, like, feel that feeling again.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see how that like could be a thing, like when you're that big and everybody, like you say, everybody. But now I've heard, like, I forgot who it was, but somebody was saying that they saw, like, Bill Burr somewhere, like recently kind of, and that he was eating shit, like, and that's Bill Burr, like one of the big comedians, you know. So it's like, and that's one of the things that I like I said, research and looking up, like, other comedian shit is like, that's some shit, man. You could be the best in the world and still eat shit, because it depends on, like, the vibe of the crowd too. Like, if everybody's having, like, or like if someone, like, kills the energy. Oh yeah. Like in the room type shit. Yeah.
That's anything though, man. It's like, man, shit, Michael Jordan had bad games. That's gonna happen. You're not gonna be that. You're not gonna be him every night. Yeah, you could be him most nights. Yeah. And you could be so good that people know, like, man, yeah, he just had an off night. Yeah. But some nights it ain't gonna be a night. Something happened and you're like in a bad mood and you ain't feeling it. I get in that mood a lot of times, man. It's like I don't feel like doing it tonight. But I'll go do it. And if it's good, then that's cool. And, like, sometimes, I don't know if this happened to you, but sometimes, like, if you sit in a room, like, a lot of times at the late night mic, it takes so long that I'll sit in there and it's like, man, my mood I'm not in a bad mood. It's like, but I'm just not, I don't have the energy. My energy goes down. I'm like, man, I'm going to get up here and do it because it's practice. But I know this ain't going to be, like, my best work.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But, and the other thing is, like, I have this thing that I can start, like, sensing the vibe. Like, sometimes even when I walk into places or when I meet people, I can meet, I don't know, is it like I pick up people's vibe in this weird way. So, like, I'm starting to realize that I can already tell if it's gonna go good or not just by it being in the room. Yeah. And feeling out the vibe for a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, this shit's not gonna go good.
You know, it's crazy when I feel that. I like that sometimes though. I go in certain rooms and it'd be weird, and I'd be like, okay, y'all ain't gonna do this shit tonight. Y'all ain't gonna do me like this tonight. Y'all motherfuckers gonna laugh. Yeah. And I like that challenge sometimes, man. I don't know.
You go in there with that fucking Bernie Mac fucking.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
Hit me.
That's such a good fucking. I was watching that recently.
Yeah. I was just telling myself, man, I need to watch fucking Def Comedy Jam again. It's like all over again, the whole shit.
That's kind of where like the mains, like, if I can think about, like, if I try to go back and think about, like, the main shit that I can think of, like, where I started seeing it, it was just seeing, like, the Def Comedy Jam comics, like, go up and shit. And then MTV had they had some shit too where they would, like, show comedy and shit. Yeah. I think, like, if I can think back, that's some of the first shit that I was, like, Lavelle Crawford and fucking. Love that shit. Yeah.
My stepmom and my daddy, they fucking love Lavelle Crawford. He'll do shows in Columbia. When she kept saying that, she's like, you can open up for Lavelle Crawford. I'm like, man.
That's dope.
That shit is dope. But I remember, like, we couldn't watch, like, Def Comedy Jam and shit like that at my grandma's house. She was like, hell no, they doing too much cussing. And plus, we had to get that shit on the cassette. Somebody bootlegged it because we didn't get no damn HBO. Boy, nobody paying for that shit. But I remember, like, BET, Comic View used to come on.
Yeah, Comic View. That was, like, one of the main shows.
I used to love that shit. Lil Duval, when he was rolling power, I used to, man, I still fuck with Lil Duval. Lil Duval, like you said, Lavelle, Bruce. Bruce is hell yeah. What's the dude that do that? Key with the eyes, the big eyes. Oh, damn, I can't think his fucking name.
Is he bucktooth? He has like a big ass gap in his teeth.
Nah. But hell, them the people that I remember being like, man, I gotta go home and watch this shit. I can still remember they bits that they used to do. Yeah. And what's crazy is it seemed like they will be up there for so long.
Yeah. Nah, but I mean, like most of that is like, oh, you're talking about those shows, like the comic view shows?
Yeah, it seemed like
Okay.
that their sets used to be so long, but it's like, man, it's only 5 minutes, and now you feel it like, man, you get up there, and it's like 5 minutes. 5 minutes go by like nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
especially when you're killing, when you're doing good,
bro. I did. I remember my first 10-minute set that I did. I was not ready to do it. I came to Hollywood Comedy one night, and there was a show that Casey had booked, and he was like, man, yeah, y'all doing 10 minutes, and I was like, bro, I only got like 6 or 7 minutes worth of shit, but I'm like, I'm gonna stretch it, I'm gonna make it work. And I was doing stuff, and it was kind of working, but it wasn't really working. But even when I did that, I was like, man, that don't feel like that much time. Yeah. And now I did a 10-minute set at Josh's show, that Nobleman and the Funny Nights. I was supposed to do 8 minutes.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Or 7 minutes. I'm like, Josh, I'm running the light. He's like, all right. I think I did like 9 or 10 minutes. That went by so fast. I'm like, man, damn.
It's just different. Like I've had that. I think I've had that experience like 2 or 3 times where like you're kind of like in the zone where you know the next shit you say is gonna be funny.
Bro, when you get in the zone, that shit is beautiful. Cause it's like, man, no matter when you feeling it, it's like no matter what you say.
Yeah,
it's gonna be funny.
Yeah. I've had like 1 or 2 like, but it's been at shows where that energy is up. Like we had a great fucking host, like, and then just like, yeah, man, you just get out there, and you just like loose, and you just enjoy that shit.
You just getting it in, man.
Feeling.
Yeah,
that's the best feeling. But one of my first times was at my first show at the Hollywood Comedy. Like I did really good. Like it was probably like the best. It was my first show. Like it was like the best experience I've had. Well, I've had 1 or 2 mics, right? But man, I was like, damn, I want to feel this, you know? And then it was funny though, because the very next day I did a mic and just fucking ate shit, bro. I was like, I guess I'm not that good.
Man, that's what happened to me. I did my first set, that EDD joke shit that I got. That's my first fucking set that I ever did. That's my first joke that I wrote, and like that shit worked. So I did that one night at a show. So I'm feeling good. I'm going home like, man, I'm gonna write a whole nother fucking 5-minute set tonight. And I wrote this set, and in my head, I'm like, man, this shit gonna be fire. And I went to this mic the next day and ate shit. Well, I was like, what the fuck is going on? This shit is not going like I thought it was gonna go. Yeah. And that's when I was like, all right, well, yeah, I probably need to step back and like practice a little bit. Pump your brakes, my man. Pump your goddamn brakes.
You start feeling like for me, I was like, oh, okay. Now I know what they were talking about, bro. Now I know that they're bombing shit.
Yo, that motherfucker, you hot, sweating and shit. Like, oh.
Get all hot and shit. And then for me, it's a little bit more fucked up too, because like one of the things that happens with my injury is that so where my injury is, like I only sweat from my injury up. So once my body starts feeling hot, like I start sweating like excessively, bro. Like it tries to compensate for. So a motherfucker out here like dripping, bro. Like
they're like, you crying?
Like God damn, you motherfucker nervous than a motherfucker. So I had that experience at my last show at the Hollywood Comedy. It was packed, bro. It was so packed that like people were standing, like the crowd, like paying people were standing because it was so full.
Oh, that's lit.
Like all the comics were in the green room because there was no space. So, and then it was hot, bro. It was hot in there. So I started getting hot, and I just started feeling that fucking.
Boy, that shit get crazy.
Yeah, but I was good. Like I did really good. Everybody was fucking laughing. I was like,
bro, you should do my name ear itching. Have you done Comedy Chateau?
Nah,
never. Bro, you should go up there audition. They do auditions. Fucking, just go up there in 3 minutes. They'll book you, and that's a good room, bro. I did a show. I did 2 shows there. 2 or 3. I did one in the big room for sure, and I did 1 or 2 in a smaller room. But my first show that I did there, the New Faces show, boy, I'm in that motherfucker waiting to go up, and I see this dude walk in, big dude. I'm like, that's like somebody's fucking security. I'm like, I ain't think nothing of it, and I was like going over my shit because I just started with my second show that I ever done. Fucking Kevin Hart walks through.
Word.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I gotta kill it now. So it turns out he was doing a show in a small room working on his new, I guess he's about to do a special or some shit. He's working on his new shit. And he went in there and did his, and then I was still waiting to go up. And I'm texting my girl and she's like, man, fucking Kevin Hart just walked through here. And she looking around like, for real? I'm like, yeah, he just walked through. She's like, but you gotta kill him. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do what I do. And so he didn't end up coming back through while I was in there. But I'm excited. I'm like, man, I gotta do my thing in front of Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
This other comedian was up doing his set when Kevin Hart walked back through and was going home, was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker forgot his whole damn set. He got up there, he was doing this shit. He was doing good too. He's like, oh shit, is that Kevin Hart that just walked through? And he was like, oh fuck. Damn, I forgot what I was about to say. That motherfucker ate shit for the rest of the damn mic.
That's funny. Like, that's people wild. Are like, turned on him, or what? He just never picked it back up.
He just never picked it back up.
Yeah.
And I can imagine like being on stage, one of your first shows, and then fucking Kevin Hart walked through. You're like, oh fuck.
That's what. Hey, that's dope though, man. It's like it's like a story you're telling. You know?
But it also make you feel like you're like, man, shit, I'm performing at places where damn Kevin Hart was performing.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, like I kind of had that like because I did a show at the fourth Wall.
Yeah.
Too. And well, like people have gone there like back in the day, like Joey Diaz would go there and shit. And it was like, it's like a crazy feeling. Like I mean, I've done this same stage with like,
bro, that's how it is out here, man. No matter where you are, people will pop in anywhere. Lil Dicky popped into the Hollywood Comedy one night. I wasn't there, but I'm like, damn, that shit wild. That's how it is though. I don't get like, I'm one of them people. I don't get excited around celebrities because like, man, they just fucking normal people like me, but it's still like that thing of like, these are people that are like, I mean, they're nobody like that special, but they're still like people who are prominent people.
Yeah.
And it's like you wanna, and they're people that can like they can put you on to shit. So you still wanna like, if you're doing something in front of them, you wanna, you know what I'm saying? You wanna perform.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, out here, that shit's crazy because like it's such a small. LA is so big, but it's so small. And then the underground comedy scene, which is, I would have never imagined. Like this is some shit that I never thought that was like this, because the underground comedy scene is so small, but it's like so big at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like I never go places and not meet somebody new.
Yeah.
Every mic I go to is like, man, oh shit, what's your name? I never met you before. And there be people who done all kind of shit. They be like, oh yeah, I was a writer on this, or I helped with this, and I did with this, or just like I just started doing it, and I'm just trying to get. And it's like it's so many different people, and everybody's so cool. Everybody's like, man, hell yeah, you meet one or two people that think they hot shit, but for the most part,
everybody's cool.
Everybody cool. Everybody want to help you. Everybody want to do some shit. Like when I said when I met you, like, yeah, I do a podcast and this. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let me get on there. Everybody wants to like. Everybody's working towards something.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Even if some people are like bullshitting and like just 1 foot in, 1 foot out,
fasting it a little bit and shit.
But still, everybody's trying to go to a place, and it's like it's cool meeting people who are working towards something and like not just out there just going through the motions. Yeah, I feel 100%. Like
it's also cool. Like yesterday at the show, like dude, like I just it's been 4 months, almost 5 months, and like I knew most of the people.
So
in the
many
room,
motherfuckers know you.
It was so dope.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was like, that's crazy. I was thinking about it. I was like, I fucking know most of these people, and I just been doing this for such a little.
And but you meet people know you, and you have no idea who they're like. Man, yeah, I saw you at such and such. I know you did.
Bro, it's a little bit worse for me because more people remember me because of the chair. So it's like I do a lot of shit in the photography community, and like there's meetups where sometimes there's like been up to like 500 people. Yeah. So you're just meeting fucking people. So, and then like, yeah, like more people remember me than I remember them. So yeah, it's like, I'll have that experience. Like, yeah, we met, and I'll be like,
I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. What was your name again?
Yeah, man. It's like, fuck. Like, but yeah, it's like dope that like meeting new people, and then like, yeah, there's been some people that have gone up at the Hollywood Comedy that have been in movies and shit.
Yeah,
like,
people do all kind of shit, but you never know.
Yeah. That shit happened to me not that long ago. I was watching that movie. It's like, I think it's like Road Trip. It's like a comedy movie. It's with what's her name? She's like
the blonde chick.
No, she's like a really famous black comedian. Like she's really good friends with Kevin Hart. And then
Tiffany
Haddish, and then what's his fucking name? Something Andre. Eric Andre. It's like this, but like there was like a few people that go to the open mics I was like, what the fuck? I just see this fool in the fucking at THC
Bro,
doing a mic.
You see people, bro. You see you meet so many people, and that should be so dope. Especially like if you go out there and you ain't even got to kill, but like you do good, and people like if people see you a lot, that's when you really start to get into it. It's like we do a lot of fucking comedy, bro.
Yeah.
We like pretty much more nights than not. We're out doing mics and more than one mic a night, right?
Yeah.
So we run into so many people, and people like see that you're really putting that time in. That's when they really start to be like, okay, you know, and that's when you start to like really start getting booked on shows, and people like, oh yeah, I put you up, but you know, sometimes you pop up at a show, and people like, oh, you want to do a pop in?
Yeah.
It's like, man, yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah,
that's do a couple minutes.
That's happened to me every time I've done a show. I've gotten other shows from it. Like every single time that's happened. I'm like, this fucking dope, you know?
Hell yeah, boy. Especially when you think it's that like sometimes you need that like reinforcement from people. Like I'm not one of them people that's real big on I need people to tell me like, oh, you doing good. But sometimes you like, man, you like, am I? And people like, hey man, hey, that shit was good. You like, okay, hell yeah. That shit make you want to go harder, bro.
No,
real.
hell yeah. No. Like, well, yeah, you need that. Like, we're human, man. You know, we need that. Ain't nothing wrong with like hell yeah, it feels good to be like, hey, yo, that shit was funny, bro. That bit that you did about this or that, it's like, oh hell yeah, you know, like that's what's up, you know. That's a dope feeling, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just when you're in that zone, when you in the zone, such a dope feeling, man. When you're just in there, everybody's laughing at anything you say. It's such a dope.
When you like, I'll know sometimes I get in the mood and I'm just in that motherfucker joking around. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm about to do it tonight.
Yeah, like fucking loose and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta find that balance, you know? Like when it comes to like smoking too and like taking a little drink or something, you gotta like find that balance. Cause I found that like sometimes I've drank too much, like 1 or 2 beers, and then that shit kind of throws me off for whatever reason. Yeah.
Like I can't smoke and do comedy.
Nah?
I can't get high and do comedy. No, hell no. Not if I want to be funny. Hell no. And like drinking, I can't drink that much. I might have a beer before I go on stage, but it's like, and it took me a while to figure that out. It's like, man, I'm not number one, I'm not thinking how I need to think. And then number 2, my words, I'll start to like fuck my words up. I can't articulate my words like I want to, and I don't like that, bro. I'll be pissed off after I do it. And it took me a while of like doing it and being like, man, why the fuck you keep doing this stupid ass shit?
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, you know what? Nah, I'm just not gonna do it. I ain't even gonna do that.
Yeah, I just had that realization like maybe like 2 weeks ago where I was like, I took some shots and then somebody gave me a beer. And then I was like, why? I would slur some of the main words that you need to hit.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, like why am I?
Oh, fuck, I keep doing it.
Why am I fucking up these words? I'm like, god damn it, because in your head it's clear, but when you're fucking saying it, you're like,
you hear fucking that shit through the mic. You like, man, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. But I've had more positive experiences from the mics than negative. So
for the most part,
we good. But and that's the other thing. When I said that I like researched it, and like a lot of the comics will say that it was like people were assholes a lot of the times, and I guess that it's really changed. Like the comedy scene has changed. They said
after COVID, people were a lot nicer. They said before COVID, people used to be assholes. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, man, I don't think so. I think another thing is, man, luckily I found, cause you know I be me, Josh, MJ. Fucking, we pretty much got our little group that we for the most part, if you see us, we gonna be together. We out doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Sure. We get Danny in there, Dom, shit. You roll with us. It's like, man, being with people while you're doing it, that's cool too. Cause number one, you got people that can like give you honest like feedback of, oh well, you should have said this, or you should like give you. Cause a lot of times, what I don't like is, I'll see people doing comedy and I'll be like, okay, it might have worked better if they tried this. But I'm not the person that come up to somebody and be like, man, especially if I don't know you, like trying to tell you, oh, bro, you should have said it like this. Like, hell no, I'm not going to do that because I don't know you. And no, it's people take criticism like, or constructive criticism, they take that shit different ways. Like, I don't give a fuck if somebody come to me and tell me that they feel like it's something that I could have done better or I should have did. I'm like, okay, cool, I appreciate that. But a lot of people like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But having people that like can be honest with you when you go, like sometimes I'll go up and I need somebody to tell me like, nah, bro, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like we comedians, so we talk shit, we do it. It's not that nice, but it's like it's still a joke.
Yeah.
They be like, man, like sometimes motherfuckers come on stage like, boy, you fucking sucked. And they be like, man, I know. That shit was terrible. Like, nah, bro, you ate shit. We was like getting on each other's ass, but it's like all fun and games, but still it's like, nah, don't do that shit again. Yeah.
But it's also having those moments where when you do good and your homies are like, bro, that shit was
good. What hell
yeah. Like, and then it's cool. Like MJ's done that with me a few times where he like I do a set and he was like, bro, that shit, or you killed it. Like I remember one night where this dude went up and he was wearing like a red hat. I don't know if you were there, and he had like a big ass beard.
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
he looked like Forrest Gump, bro. Like he took his mask, he looked, and I did this whole shit about like, I was like, bro, you kind of look like, I was like, after Jenny, I started doing comedy.
Did he have on that big ass puffer coat and shit
he had like a jacket too. Yeah. He looked like exactly like, and he was from like Philadelphia.
I know you.
After that one, I was like, fuck, I should have said like, did you run here from Philadelphia, bro? But yeah, like that night, I feel like I was loose. Like for whatever reason, I was.
Bro, I remember the first night you did that fucking Pedro Parker shit, bro. I was fucking dying. I was like, boy, this motherfucker is stupid, dog.
Well, that I don't know if you were Colin. I was doing a set where I was like, I was kind of like talking to the crowd a little bit. I was like, what do you think would be funnier? I was having one of those nights where I was like, I didn't plan anything. I was like, I'm just going to talk to the audience and see what the fuck. So I started like, kind of like, because the thing with me is like, there's a bunch of comedians in the room and they might have jokes about chairs that I'm not thinking of and that they're thinking of, but they can't do because they're not in a chair. So I was kind of like, y'all got any jokes that you think would be funny? And then I started saying, I said some shit where like, I was like fucking Latin Spider-Man. And then Colin was like, yo, say Pedro. And then I was like, fucking Pedro Parker.
Bro, that shit was so fucking funny. I was like, man, Pedro fucking Parker, dog.
Yeah, because it's funny because Pedro, the name Pedro is Peter in Spanish.
That's why that shit's so funny.
Yeah, and then like, here Latin ass fucking. Yeah, that one fucking makes people go, bro.
Fucking Spidey sensors did not go off. I was like, man, what the fuck?
Because like it's overall it's some tragic ass shit, right? Getting blasted, fucking ending up in a chair and all that shit. But like hearing somebody joke about that shit, that's what makes it so funny, bro. Because it comes out of left field, like
all the shit that goes on, like all my jokes. People be like, man, is that a made up story? I'm like, nah, it's. Some parts of it, of course, is embellished.
Yeah,
but it's shit that really happened, bro. It's like shit that really happened. I think those are the best jokes, bro.
Yeah.
Especially like, man, shit. I was telling, I met this guy. He had a fucking glass eyeball, and he was telling me about how like the journey he got to get that glass eye. He's like, man, he had an eye and it was like fucked up and it was all small, but he's like, he would always like, he didn't make it like a disability. Like I was telling him, I was like, man, that's what you gotta do, because if you make it seem like it's a thing, then people gonna treat you like it's a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you just like make it like, nah, like, man, shit, it's me and I'm comfortable and I'm standing up and like this is what it is, and people they're not gonna treat you no different. They're just gonna be like, man,
yeah. For
a lot of people like shy away from shit. I'm like, nah, bro, like why would you do that?
Yeah,
hell nah, I'm not gonna. No, fuck that.
Yeah, I could speak on that like a little bit when it comes to the chair. Both me and then people that I've talked to, like other dudes, other females that are in chairs, where they have the thing where like, let's say you're dating somebody, and then you say some shit like, oh, like, well, if I wasn't in the chair, when you say shit like that, it'll throw people off. Like if you make it a thing, other people will make it a thing, you know. Yeah. But if you come in confident, like I'm me, motherfuckers, and you're gonna just accept me and like me for who I am, regardless of if I have some disability or I'm in a chair or whatever.
Man, fuck you. Yeah, like, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like, kind of like one of the realizations that I've had. Like after, it's like it's all about your confidence, man. It's all how you present yourself, the vibe you come with. Like people will fuck with it or not, you know.
And but that's another thing that like being on that stage help you with, cause it's like you get on that fucking stage, you get up there, it's just you. Ain't nobody up there with you. Ain't nobody fucking, bro. You get up. Every time I get on the stage, I tell myself, like, listen, bro. You just go up there and do it. Yeah. Because in the big scheme of things, you only up there for a few minutes. Yeah. It's like if you can't if you get on stage and you being all frail and fragile, bro, you're not gonna.
Nah,
That
people are
work.
gonna sense that shit
People,
too.
it's like, man, they sense that shit, they smell that shit, and they just not gonna, they not gonna fuck with it.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, you gotta bring that fucking a little bit like a confidence and then like a looseness. Like it's like a balance you gotta do. You know, you gotta.
That's life though, man. You walk in that room, boy. You walk in that room like you own it.
No, yeah, and then the like one thing that I said is like. Anybody that gets up there has my respect, bro. Because you're already doing some shit that like 80-90% of people ain't down to do. You know, it's not just can't do, but just not willing to. Like they're just I'm straight. You know, so you like, hey, you're already doing something, man. If you're fucking getting out there and telling your story or thinking of some shit. You know?
I ain't gonna lie to you. If anybody tells you that they never got nervous going on stage, they full of shit.
Nah, yeah.
They are full of shit. Like I've been on like I ain't gonna say I don't get nervous. I don't get as nervous as most people like talking in front of people and like being on stage in front of people. So I always been that person to be like, man, fuck it. You need something hosted, I'll host that. Yeah. Or I'll do that. I'll get up in front of people and do a presentation. I don't give a fuck. But even doing that, I was nervous doing this shit. But it's like once I get up there, it's like fuck it. And again, it's like, man, looking at fucking going head on with that fear or with that nervousness.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm not gonna let this shit beat me.
Yeah. What people say is like use that nervousness, like make it like program your head to associate like nervousness with like excitement. With like this shit is gonna be dope, you know? Like that's what like people recommend when it comes to like nervousness and like but the thing is like I feel like, especially at the beginning, like maybe people put too much like pressure on themselves to like, you know, that shit can throw you off.
Of course, because you want to do good and you got so much in your head, like, man, what if it don't do this or what if it don't do that? But it's like, what if it do?
Yeah.
What if that shit is fire?
That's the thing.
And sure. I ain't gonna lie, I went through that before I did my first open mic. I was like, man, what if I get up there and I ain't funny, or what if this shit don't da-da-da-da. My homeboy, he always tell me, like, man, nah, he like, bro, you gonna kill. He like, bro, you a naturally funny dude. Like, the way we be talking, and I like go over my set in front of him. He be like, man, nah, he like, bro, that shit's fire.
Yeah, that shit's gonna. So you kind of had that like outgoing personality a little bit.
Yeah,
like
always.
Like, do you feel like, because nervousness and stage fright are two different things. So you feel like you had stage fright like at the beginning? Or
I had no stage fright. No, I was never nervous of being on stage. It's like you know how it is, like not knowing if something's gonna work or not, right?
Like that.
That's more.
This shit might go bad. We'll see how it goes.
This shit might go bad, but we gonna see how it goes. There was more of that. Like I was holding myself back, how I feel, because I was like, man, I could have done it months ago.
Yeah,
it's like I kept, you know how you make those excuses, like, man, I'm gonna do it next week.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it the next day.
Everybody has a little bit of that in them.
Until that one day, you're just like, man, fuck it, just go do it.
Yeah,
just go do it. And it's so crazy because I went to like 3 mics before I actually went up. I went to one open mic that was a bucket, my first one I went to, and I had some jokes, but I didn't put my name in the bucket. And then I went to another one. I did put my name in the bucket. I went to Boomtown and I didn't get pulled. And then I went to Offbeat when my parents came. My dad and my stepmom, I went to Offbeat and they came. And I put my name in a bucket that night and I didn't get pulled. So I'm like, damn, maybe this shit just ain't. Then I found like the Comedy Bureau where it shows all the mics and like they'll like pay to go up, like $5 to go up. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. I know I'm gonna go up if I go pay my $5. Cause I ain't know nothing about it. I was like, shit, I ain't know shit. I was green as fuck. I'm checking Instagram and shit like, oh, what the open mics at? I'm like, oh yeah. And it was like when COVID just ended, so a lot of stuff just wasn't open.
Yeah.
So I found the Hollywood Comedy and I went out there and I was like, man, I'm gonna pay my $5 to go up. And I remember sitting there. I never forget. I remember sitting there and just being like, oh fuck, I gotta go over here and do this shit. Like trying to remember these fucking jokes because I ain't never did these jokes in front of nobody. I'm nervous. And Lizzie was hosting that day. Oh, and Andy Van was there. I met Andy Van that day. And nice. I went up and I did my shit like I said I did. Bro, I did like fucking 7 minutes of some change. Luckily, it wasn't that many people there. Because when you know about the light, but you don't really know how to gauge that time when you get the light.
Yeah. And then you don't want to see it sometimes because you're like in your shit.
Yeah.
Too.
So I got up there and I was doing it and I did like fucking 7 minutes of some change. And I remember getting down and being like, damn, that shit. Because you see comedy on TV and you think when you do comedy, no matter where you at, people are just supposed to be falling out laughing.
Yeah.
But it was a mic.
Yeah.
And like I was like, man, I don't know if that was good. And my homeboy had came. He like, man, nah, that shit was good. He like, bro, that shit was good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, it was all right. And I went back and listened to it. I was like, man, that's my first time listening to my set. And I'm like, okay, I should have said this like this, or I can make this sound better like this. And I went outside, and Andy Van came. I was like, man, dog. He's like, man, yeah, that shit was good. I'm like, oh, appreciate it, bro. He's like, man, how long you been doing comedy? I'm like, man, that's my first mic. He's like, what? I was like, hell yeah, it's my first mic. And I went home, and like a week later, Lizzie sent me a Instagram message. She's like, yo, do you want to be on the show? And I was like, damn.
That quick?
That quick. For real. I'm dead ass serious. I'm like, man, that quick. Yeah. And I tell that story, and people be like, man, damn, you got booked off your first mic. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, that shit was like, it was my first time doing comedy on stage in front of actual people, but it's like, nah, I had ran through the set so many times in my head because I knew that like I was just gearing up, like getting my nerves right to like just go and do it.
Yeah.
But I had ran through that set so many fucking times that it was just like second nature how I was gonna do it. I had done it I did it in front of, my boy had this party at his house one day for his girl's birthday, and he got like in his backyard, he put down like turf and shit, and he had like a karaoke machine. So people was like doing karaoke and shit.
Yeah.
So I just hopped up and did like try some jokes out.
Yeah.
And it was my first time.
Yeah.
And so it was straight, but it wasn't like, oh man,
yeah,
you funny. So yeah, and I did it there, and I was like, man, I did it there, and I was nervous as fuck and I was doing that in front of my friends.
Yeah.
Right. So then I did that one, and it was like, man, yeah, it was good. And I got booked off my first, but was it really like my first mic? Like, nah, I put so much time and effort into it that it was like I knew what I was doing and like where I was going with it.
You went like prepared, like that was like the opposite. I went to the THE was the first comedy club I had ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, so I went on a Friday, and I was like, cool, I'll go check it out. And then like I was just checking everybody's sets. And then like a lot of people weren't getting any reaction. Like it was just off. Like I was like, I think I'm funnier than some of these people, bro. Like, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna come back on Monday, and I'm gonna just jump on. And that's what I jumped on. And I was like, this shit wasn't that bad, like, you know, because of the mentality that, like, I was like, fucking man, like, what's the worst that can happen, you know?
All I can do is like,
people are gonna be quiet for 5 minutes. Like, I'm not gonna. Like, I've been shot. Like
that's the least of my worries.
You know,
easy.
like, I'll take your bullets. You know, what is this gonna do to me?
real.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it or whatever. And it was dope, man. Like I was like, shit, I think this shit might be something I might be good at or whatever. I'm gonna just keep coming back, like, seriously or whatever.
Look at you now, boy. You getting booked up. It was
fucking, yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. It's fun, but I feel like I need to like start going a little bit more often, because sometimes, like, because of the paintings and then like working on podcasts and like editing pictures and shit, I have to like spread my time, and then I'm not exactly the most disciplined person either.
Oh shit,
so.
Me neither, boy. I'm terrible. But yeah, I think it's just it's a balance that you gotta find. I feel like, because I was doing like 2-3 mics a night every night, like night in, night out, night in. Then I didn't have a job and shit, so I was like, I ain't have nothing else to do. I wake up in the morning and just be fucking bored during the day. And it was like, once you get it, like once you find something that you like and something that's interesting, it's like you get excited to go do that. And I was like, man, hey, I gotta do these mics at night. Now I'll take like a week off.
Yeah.
And when I come back, it's just like, because I feel like sometimes I do so much comedy that I just like, I not that I don't get burnt out, but it's like I don't get like, that's when my energy starts getting low. I'll get in there and I'll be like, man, but I'll take a week off. Like last week, 2 weeks ago, I had to go to Chicago for 3 days, and I came back. I went Sunday. I came back on Wednesday, and I was like, I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the week. And I had a show on that Friday. Or that Saturday, whatever that day that show was on. I was like, man, I need to go to a mic. But I was like, man, fuck it. I'm not going to no mic, man. I'm going to go up there and they going to get what they get.
Yeah.
But I went up there and it's like, man, I felt so refreshed and like I had so much energy. I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just going to, and that shit ended up being good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once you have like your jokes that work too. You have those in the back of your whatever. It's just like about energy, and then at the shows, it's like the energy is just way higher than it is at the mics.
Shows. People coming to laugh.
Yeah,
for the most part. So you gotta, if you okay, you gonna get some laughs.
Yeah.
Because people are coming there to laugh.
Yeah.
Now mics, that's a different thing. Them motherfuckers coming there to try to see if some shit work.
Yeah.
Well, that's wild. Yeah.
We talked about it with MJ. You mentioned a little bit like the Friends mic.
Mm-hmm.
You do that. Like I posted it. I'll post it up again. Like it's once a month. You know the date that the next.
So I think the next one's gonna be the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
The 10th.
Yeah. We started doing it on Mondays, and then they switched the date on us to Tuesdays. So I think the next one's gonna be the 10th. And then eventually, what we want to do is we're gonna start booking it and just make it a show. Since we only do it once a month anyway, we're gonna make it a show and still free. Just fucking get everybody to come out because we get pretty good turnouts. But yeah, we're gonna start booking it and just fucking make this shit, make it pop.
Nice. Yeah, it's been fun. Like the vibe is dope.
Yeah, and it's always chill.
We've been going at it for a little bit. Like anything else you wanna anything you got going on? You wanna shoot your IG up so people.
Oh yeah, man, y'all can catch me at Versace Sheem. Who the fuck is Donatella? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, BERSACESH, 2 E's and an M. You can also follow us at the Funny Friend Mike. And that's just how it sounds, the Funny Friend Mike. Yeah, my boy Danny always going up out that motherfucker, getting them laughs in, and he's snapping flicks in between. If you see them crystal clear pics on the Instagram page, that's the man right here.
Getting it.
You know what I'm saying?
Fucking getting the evidence that we did that shit.
We was there. If it ain't on the gram, it ain't happening, is what the kids saying.
Yeah, the vibe is fucking dope. So you guys need to check it out if y'all in the LA area. I'll post up a flyer most likely, and if not, remind y'all it's on the 10th. Yeah, man, it was fucking a pleasure having you.
We gotta
nice
do it
chopping
again,
it up for sure. I'm trying to be consistent with it and trying to get an episode out every week.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, like I said, I'm not the most disciplined, but like I said to people, I hit people up and they're like, yeah, and then they're like, nah.
You dealing with people, man. That's just how it's gonna go.
So I'm gonna definitely like try to keep a fucking a rotation of like if people can't make it, I'm gonna try to have people that are down
on standby,
shoot through, for sure. Because I need to be more consistent with this shit.
Shit,
like I have the equipment, everything, the time. So
that's the motherfuckers at the Hollywood Comedy to come through. They always trying to come get some shit off, man.
I'm gonna start hitting up. I've been trying to get I've been having nothing but dudes on the show, so I'm trying to
switch it up a little bit,
some like female perspective. So I have some like comedians like coming up, and then a few models, but yeah, for sure I'm like I need to get on my filming once a week at least. Try to get maybe 2.
That's a lot though, man. Filming and then the editing part of it takes a fucking.
That's the shit. And then I'm still kind of learning shit all the time with this shit. So like,
it's all a process. But
sure.
When we blow up, we gonna remember this.
You
know what I'm saying? We get this motherfucking bread. It's gonna be.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, like with the right people though, like there's some shit there. Like whether like right now I'm just doing me and another person, but eventually I want to get it where it's like a few people interacting like consistently type thing. So maybe we could just get like a group of people, like.
No, we working on a well, I got you here. Yeah, we working on a series, man. Which we still working it out right now. But the way the shit is gonna work out is like what we want to do is gonna center kind of around the comedy scene, but everybody has their own like episode of it. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But everybody kind of comes together at like doing comedy or doing mics and some shit. So I'm gonna get with you about that. That you write your episode out. And
let me know, bro. I'm with it. I'm just trying to, like, that's one of the reasons that I kick it after mics too, is because I'm still trying to like learn shit and kind of get other people's views on comedy and like different ideas and just trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and like get productive, put some shit out there. Like I have this channel and I have another channel that I've been lagging it on too. But yeah, we're gonna fucking keep doing it, bringing people on. Fucking, I'm down.
We're gonna get it popping, baby.
Shit. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate
anytime.
It. We out this.
Until next time, baby. We out this motherfucker. Peace.
Pacing in my studio, just coming up with dapper bars to spit in crucial situations when I play the rapper's part. Heard I got a denim heart and lyricism in my jeans. Cut a track down, leave it bald head like Mr. Clean. Spit it mean, a record fiend. I school you niggas, call me Dean. I'm always speechless, never seen. Stay on the chase for minty green. His logo, how these niggas say they ballin', but they broke though.